You to fly, still standing strong. Got some hard nights, but we kept God on. Love to pay, earn when we grow. Getting quit when it got uncomfortable. We had to heal, had to find our voice. Had to choose peace even when it costs. Not perfect people, but we show up real. Faith over fear, learning how to feel. This is life with the ropes. Real love, real hope. Faith in the middle of the highs and lows. We talk it through, we heal, we grow. This is life with the popes. This is life with the popes. This is life with the show. This is life with the popes.
Hey everybody, how are you tonight? Carrie Pope.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Pope. Welcome to Life with the Popes. Welcome in, guys.
Welcome.
Hey,
You got to talk loud
Ronald.
tonight. You can't be all like Olivia, Vanessa. You got to talk.
Good evening. Hey, Ronald. Hey, Thrive family. As you're coming on, welcome in, everybody. Tonight's topic, you know that March is, the theme is freedom. So tonight we are covering, Tico, welcome in, love.
Sorry.
We are talking about freedom from financial fear. Freedom from financial fear. That is our topic for tonight. So welcome in.
Hey,
As
everybody.
you're coming in, say hello.
How
hello,
are you?
Hello.
Are we tired? Yes, we are. But
You're
we're
tired.
here tonight. What's
I
good?
ain't tired.
Well, rock the party then, baby.
Ronald says that's a fire track.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That's our theme
Thank you.
song
Thank you so much.
for Life with the Pope. So welcome in, guys. Tonight we are discussing freedom from financial fear.
Mm-hmm.
And this is very apropos. We know that this economy in the United States is absolutely crazy. There's so much going on, right? So talking about fears around finances and freedom from fear is what we're covering tonight. So let me jump in here in our notes. Give me 1 second to go back in.
And you just going right on in.
We going in.
Just not even warming it up. Just bam.
Well, I mean,
Bam.
listen, let's get to it. We got a lot to cover tonight, okay? All right. You can have money and still be afraid, or have no money and be consumed by fear. People right now are feeling anxious about income, about jobs, about the money in your bank account, the lack of money in your bank account. But at the end of the day, fear around money is not just about what you have and what you don't have. If you have anxiety or fear, if you have financial trauma that's not healed, or you have a faulty or scarcity mindset about money, that is the bigger issue. It's not about the amount. It's about fear around this issue that you've either inherited or learned through trying times. And so tonight we're going to talk about money. Tonight is not about money, though. It is about the fear surrounding it.
So you mean people are afraid to have money? Is it a scarcity mindset?
Yeah.
Or
subconsciously, yes.
Okay.
So there's fear around money. Guys, there's people who make tons of money who still have so much fear around money that they work as if they don't have any money, like they could lose it all tomorrow. That's not peace, right? That's not harmony. That's not peace in your mind around money. You may have lots of money and you're still acting like you have nothing, or acting like you could lose it all tomorrow. You're losing sleep as if you could lose it all tomorrow. That's not peace.
No.
That's not freedom.
No.
Right? And then when you don't have as much as you'd like, or you're living in lack, or you're struggling to make ends meet, the fear mindset, the scarcity mindset around money is a vicious loop that if you don't break the loop, right, there's no way to be able to heal it. In order for you to realize more money, manifest more money, right, materialize more money in your life, your mindset has to shift.
Okay.
So we have to overcome fear.
So most of the time then our learned mindset is probably hereditary.
Oh, definitely. So much of us have inherited so many of our beliefs, our limiting beliefs, our fears around money, our spending habits, right?
Yeah.
Good evening, Kelly.
Hey,
good evening, Chrissy.
everybody.
Ronald says, my mom was a hoarder, so I fear poverty.
There you go.
Yeah. A lot of it is inherited. Then we can't just blame our family,
Okay.
because then we grow up and we go through cycles of lack, or just when you feel like you're getting on top of it, you go back into another cycle of lack or less than, or scarcity, up and down, or you've never learned the habits of a healthy spender, saver, right, investor. So a lot of the time, even as an adult, we can't just blame what we were born into. We haven't taken the responsibility to become good stewards of the money we do make, to live below our means, to be able to put in place systems of financial wealth and savings and investing, right? So we don't go and get financial literacy. We don't learn. So
try to keep up with the Joneses and live above your means. And
right.
Yeah, that's big time. Right. People who are trying to move into neighborhoods that you can't afford, driving cars. Let me tell you something. For years, people thrive to get like Jaguars and BMWs and Mercedes. And those cars are actually for executives who have the money to afford it, to where it's really not a car payment. It's just, if you're struggling to pay for the car, then more than likely you shouldn't have it. You're trying to keep up with the Joneses, because most times those cars, because they come in as a luxury and price tags, you have to have the money to pay for them. And it's going to be a pretty penny.
Right.
So,
So yeah, a lot of the time, especially in America, consumerism, capitalism, there is so much built in about wanting to look wealthy versus be wealthy. And we've all seen it. We've all dealt with it, right? So the tendency in the United States is, even when you make more money, You still are broke because you go and create a lifestyle or expenses that immediately go up to that next level. I talked about this in one of my classes, in the money mindset class. I think it was in my inner circle, where the reality is that even when you get, like right now, if you were to get another $30,000 a year, if you were to get another $50,000, if you were to double your income right now, do you really have a plan for what you would do with that money? Or is there no plan and just everything you've been wanting, the bigger house, the nicer car, the vacations that you want, would that money immediately go in to raising your level of lifestyle? And next thing you know, you're feeling just as broke or fearful around money as you used to. Because let me be clear. Yeah. Right now in 2026 in the United States, you've got people making $300,000, $400,000 a year who are still broke. Because their lifestyle, all of a sudden with the economy shifting, inflation, right? It's not stretching to cover everything that they purchased that relies on that level of income. And now they're having a hard time making ends meet because they have a $10,000 mortgage. They've got, you name it, right? And so really, guys, at the end of the day, fear, right? Fear is not just lack of money. It is emotional and it is psychological. Emotional and psychological. And if you don't begin to heal and reshape your emotional and psychological relationship with money and overcome fear, then you will continue to make, even when you make more money, you'll continue the patterns that keep you stuck in fear of money.
So here's my question. And then you may have this in our notes tonight. But you said if a person's making $300,000, you think they should be living comfortably. But then they're going into the neighborhood that they really can't afford. It's really $1 million neighborhood.
Or let's just say this. In American society, based on the way our mindset around lifestyle is set up, the way capitalism is set up, in reality, it's all a system that's built around consumerism. You are constantly being bombarded to buy things. You're constantly being bombarded to feel like there's something else you need. 90% of it is wants, it's not needs, but you're sold on the fact that it is a need, that it is something that you need in order to be able to feel like you're worthy, feel like you're good enough, feel like you're successful, feel like you're valuable. And this goes back into the emotional and psychological aspects of money and finances. And until you begin to get really brutally honest with yourself about why you want the certain level of income you want, what are your real, true personal fears, right, around money and your finances, and then you begin to implement a plan to say, okay, I've got to heal this area of my life. I've got to heal my ego, right? My emotions, my psychological aspects around finances in order to be able to manage it better, to be a good steward, to be a holder of wealth, a wealth holder, right? To be the person that can manage and hold wealth responsibly. So fear, let me break this down a little more. The fear of not having enough, the fear of losing what you have, the fear of making the wrong decision, fear of being exposed or failing. Financial fear is not about money. It is about safety, identity, and control. Safety, identity, and control.
So let's talk safety. Here in the Atlanta area, if you want to live somewhere safe, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you to move into places where...
I think it means specifically more financial safety, like financial security, not physical safety.
It's both of them. It's not just one. Because just having financial safety, I mean, let's be honest, most people we know are a paycheck away from being in trouble. Can afford to get sick. Most people had to dig into their 401ks because of the way things are. A house that used to be $115,000 is now $400,000. And so if you have a nice sized family, you need a 4-bedroom house. you're probably looking at $500,000-$600,000 to live in something decent
in Atlanta.
Yeah. And so, and if you go, further north here, it gets more expensive because that's where all your people move to get away from the inner city. And so not just safety and physical, but like safety and making sure you have enough to retire.
So financial safety, financial security, everybody has some number in their mind where they say, if I could have this much in my savings account, if I could have this much in my retirement account, if I'm sitting on this much cash, I will feel safe.
I said, if I go in the lottery and get that 88 million, I'll feel safe.
So what we're talking about tonight, though, is the emotional, spiritual, mental aspects of finances.
Yeah.
Beginning to free yourself, because if we're really honest, these patterns just keep repeating? If we're really honest, if we are operating from a place of fear when it comes to money, the cycles just continue to repeat again and again and again.
Yeah.
So let's cover financial fears and how it shows up. Scarcity thinking. Always thinking it is not enough, even when there is provision. Always thinking that it's not enough, even when there is provision. Avoidance. Not checking accounts, ignoring bills, delaying decisions. Fear-based decisions, playing small, not investing in yourself, saying no to opportunities. Over control or overspending, hoarding money out of fear, or spending to escape stress.
You think of retail therapy?
So key insight. Both over-saving and overspending can come from the same root of fear.
But do people really oversave? Who do you know oversave?
So there's people who oversave that they won't take a vacation. They don't use the vacation time they even have on a job.
That's not us.
They won't take a break.
Wait, that used to be you.
They won't take a break, right? They won't invest in themselves for their own well-being, mentally, physically, right? Mind, body, spirit. They won't invest in their own well-being. They'll let themselves go, right? Hoarding money, afraid to spend money, not fixing your teeth when you can afford to fix your teeth. Why? Right? Not investing in the business when you know that you're more than capable of doing the business, but holding back from what you could do because you are afraid to invest the money.
Saving for the rainy day.
In the next level thing.
Yeah.
Right? That is holding you back from your next level of wealth, your next level of thriving.
But what if the person that does that was the opposite of that before they became that?
What do you mean?
Well, maybe they were big spenders and they lost everything. And now they say, if I get it now, I'm going to hold on to it so I don't lose it again. So they're holding out of fear. Because most times people that hoard or hold things, they're holding out of fear of when they did have it and they lost it. So it's almost that mindset of getting it back.
It tends to be one way or the other. People either tend to be hoarders or spenders, one or the other. And that's been reinforced from stuff in our childhood. Like you grow up and you grow up to be a certain way out of fear, one way or the other, right? Because in the middle would be balanced. So in other words, fear, right, is causing you, it's holding you back from your real potential of the things you really could be doing to thrive because of fear. So where this fear comes from: childhood experiences around money, past financial mistakes or losses, family patterns and beliefs, trauma tied to survival and security. Trauma tied to survival and security. At the root of this, from a spiritual perspective, is a lack of trust in God and a lack of faith, and applying that faith to your daily walk in life and feeling like everything depends on you?
So I think it's two parts to that. I think you touched on something earlier, financial literacy. Most Christians, I know when we were growing up, did not talk about financial literacy. They getting the understanding of how to balance your money, how to invest. Investment was not even a thing when we were growing up. It was more or less survival mode. And as we gotten older, and excuse how I'll say this, in the Black community, investments were for the white community, stocks and bonds, and it's only until we got older that it became it's for everybody. And so when people think about growing up in poverty, some people are just satisfied doing a little better than what they did growing up.
Yeah.
And then that's enough. And I did better than my family, but you still could have gone further with the knowledge and wisdom we have today. I think, going to school to get an education to get a better job. Some people are like, they're not going to give it to me anyway. And some people have an education and are not pursuing growing beyond that. I have always believed when you work for any company, you're bringing benefits to that company. Your skill set is making money for that company. Some of I know for me, some of my very ideas are still being used by some companies right now. I wrote the SOP for one of the companies I work for. What does that mean? That means you have the ability to start your own because you're actually doing it under somebody else's money.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we don't think about entrepreneurship and getting out and starting our own thing because it's like scary.
Yeah.
Some people rather have a sure thing, which really isn't sure.
It's not sure.
Versus go out on your own and start something, and instead of waiting on a 2% raise, give yourself a 100% raise. Yeah. That's what we had to learn to do.
One of the things I say all the time, and of course, you guys know I help people to build businesses. And one of the things I say all the time is one is too close to none. One income stream, one job is too close to none. You are one decision away that is not within your power. You don't get to dictate. If you show up tomorrow and they say we've laid off 5,000 people, you have no control or power over that.
None.
One is too close to none. You should have at least 2 streams of income. Now, one of the things I'll say is this, and I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, but I also work with a lot of women who are transitioning and building businesses on the side of their careers. And one of the things that I have to teach a lot is around the mindset of a CEO, a mindset of an entrepreneur, having to overcome a lot of fears. One of the things, you guys, that I've noticed is that people will be ready to spend money on a vacation or spend money on a car, or spend money on this. But when it comes time to invest in a business, it's like,
which is going to allow you to take the vacations and buy the cars.
Wait a minute. Well, when am I going to see a return on this? But yet throwing money at things that have no return. But it's something psychologically that kicks in around fear of failure, fear of not being able to do it, fear that it won't work. All types of fears kick in. I mean, I think I grew up with a lot of fear around the stock market, like not feeling safe to invest in the stock market. I took an investment class last year, and because I've really challenged myself to go to the next level. Like, what am I going to do with this next level of income? What am I going to do with this money? And literally took a class last year, and one of the founders of the company that I was taking this class with said, there was 2 founders, 2 women. One woman said that she grew up poor and she had to learn how to build wealth and be a holder of wealth and manage it. The other woman, she was born into wealth and she learned about compound interest at 8 years old at like a dinner table. That from the time she was a little girl, she understood compound interest and that your money should be making money for you.
Instead of you making money and go spending it, let your money make money. And that's the key right there. Most people, listen, let me say something to you. Most people, if you ask them, why do you want to be rich? They have the wrong reasons. It's more of a showy, more of a validation. It's never to leave a legacy for my children's children. It's never to be a help to the world. It's always,
rarely.
Yeah. It's always something internally. And I'm going to say this. I know a lot of millionaires. Been around them. There's one particular millionaire. You wouldn't know he was a millionaire. This guy dressed with Walmart shirts and Walmart pants, some regular old shoes, and, he drove a beat-up pickup truck. But they had investments, liquidation. They had properties. They had, properties overseas. They put their money in what was valuable, which is liquid. They didn't have the Versace and the Gucci and walking around looking all fly. No, they looked broke down, busted, and disgusted. But they were rich. And that's the problem. I'm gonna hurt somebody's feeling when I say this. Okay, can I just go there?
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna go. I'm not gonna say it.
Whatever, say it.
If you're driving a Mercedes and you're parking it in a trailer park,
well, we live in Atlanta, y'all.
Then something's wrong. You should not own a Mercedes in the trailer park.
We see it everywhere.
You should have a house and drive a hoopty.
Listen, let me tell you something, guys.
All right.
It's one of the things that's really difficult is that we have been taught so much fear about money. And in reality, it's not the answer for most of us and most everybody on here tonight, if we're honest. The answer is always to every money problem, every financial issue, make more money. And that, as an entrepreneur, I will tell you, that has always been my answer to everything. Just make more money, Rebecca. Just make more money. Just make more money. And that's not the whole equation. That's not the whole formula. It can't just be make more money, because if you don't learn how to manage money, if you don't overcome your money fears, if you don't overcome your fears around budgeting, around saving, around literacy, around being able to know at any given time how much money's in the accounts, how much money's in the investments, getting a financial advisor. If you have all these fears around it, you can keep making more and more money, and it is literally going to be so much financial leakage that you're never, ever, ever going to feel stable and secure, because stability and security starts here. It starts here. Mm-hmm. So with the smallest amounts, beginning to get your arms wrapped around how much you've got, how much you're spending, where is there waste, where is there things you need to tighten your belt, being able to understand how much is coming in, how much is going out, really understanding your money and managing it well.
Yeah. The gentleman, again, back to the one who was talking about who was broke, or not broke, that looked broke. He said to me, he said, Kerry, and I won't forget it. Excuse me. He said, if you want to be a multimillionaire, you have to have at least 7 irons in the fire, which means 7 different things you're doing to bring in money. One thing doesn't do it. 2 things. He said 7 different things, because what happened is, let's say you got 7 things out there and the economy hits. Now the 2 of the major things that brought you money are no longer there. You got 5 more things to pull from while you work on something. If you put all your eggs in one basket, as a lot of people, we saw that back in the 2008 recession, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. When everybody was, when we almost was in a depression, when the bubble popped, when the bubble burst, we saw a lot of people lose everything because they had it in their 401k, they had it in and just lost real estate and lost everything. He said 7 irons in the fire, because if some of the fires go out on some of the irons, you have other irons that are still cold, that are still hot and burning. And so we have Odyssey Black, we have South Node, we have what's your Von Eaton, we have Healers Academy, we have, what's the other one we have? I'm doing
Next Level CEO.
Next Level CEO. And so we're 2 away, and I'm sure we got him in there somewhere, 2 away of having 7. And listen, guys, you have to do that, because look at right now. We're in a war. Gas prices are high. Everything is going up. And then you see the major layoffs that are happening. You see all these things that are going on.
And here's a really great example. So I talked to a friend of mine a couple weeks ago, and she's in the staging business in real estate. So she has furniture. She's an interior designer and a stager. And in a market like this right now, where it has slowed down and houses are not selling like they used to, her business is booming. in this economy because now they have to do more to get houses to sell. So there is unique niches in any economy, in any market, where you can still make money depending on what's in high demand.
What's in high demand. Yep.
So now she's literally, ramping up and trying to be able to stage more houses and have more furniture and meet the demand, because in this market people are having to do more to get their houses sold. It can't just be an empty house. They're bringing her in to make it beautiful so that the house will sell. And so, recognizing that there's always opportunity. There's always opportunity. Carrie is working on a brand new app. Yes, I'm going to talk about it. He's working on a brand new app around mindset. Spiritual mindset, and it is absolutely amazing, but it helps you to set your mind and ground yourself the very first thing in the morning in order to set your soul in alignment with faith and peace. Faith and peace. He's working on it. I don't know when it's going to launch, but I am mentioning it because he is working on an app, and it's absolutely amazing. I'm his tester, and so I'm using it every morning right now.
That's number 6. We say we have number 7. That's the other 6 iron in the fire.
So it's like he's working on that now, and I'm his tester, and it's like, oh my gosh, it does take a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of routine to be able to set your mind on faith and literally just, be able to get away from fear, to choose faith, right? To choose it every day. Ronald says he's breaking the stronghold of the W-2.
Yes. Listen, Ronald, here's the key, and should we back to the notes? When I developed this app, I was developing it because I was pulling all the years of knowledge and putting it in a work form to where most of us, when you wake up in the morning, however you wake up that day pretty much sets the tone of your day. You get enough of those days, it sets the tone of your week, your month, your year. And with this app, what it does is it makes you aware of where you actually are in your thoughts. And I did it. I was just blown away when I did it. So I said, Rebecca, check this app out. And she got on and said, this is freaking amazing.
I love it.
Because it makes you it holds you accountable to your feelings. You can't sweep the feelings under the rug.
Your thoughts.
And
monitoring your thoughts. Yeah. Setting your thoughts, taking authority over your thoughts, being responsible for your thoughts, because your thoughts are literally creating your life.
They're creating your reality. Yes.
Yeah, they're creating your life. Yes. And so recognizing if you have a lot of fear around money, this is a problem. And it doesn't matter how hard you work. It doesn't matter how much money you make. If you have fear around finances and money, that is the number one issue. The fear is what you've got to deal with.
So before you get to the next question, are you going, how many of you watching us tonight can say, I have a fear of money? Whatever that may be, acknowledge it now that you have a fear. Just say, I do. Because we are going to conquer that. Because, he said he wants to have life and have it more abundantly. Life is also money, happiness, health, great mindset. It's not just have life, but have life more abundantly, which means we're supposed to have more. Ronald, thank you. I do. Who else can join Ronald tonight? We had to go through this. We had to go through the scarcity mindset, through the fear mindset, and we've seen God bring us out every time. I do. Thank you. Because this is what we're making the confessions, because what we're doing is now we're saying it, and we're going to replace I do with something positive. Right. So when we have this conversation again, you can give us a testimony of where you are, because I'm telling you guys, we're not meant to be broke. We're not supposed to be. If we're a king, if we're a child of the king, we love to say our Father has mansions on 1,000 hills, and we're living out in the ditch because our mindset is of a low life mindset.
Yeah.
What
Rain Travel says, I have a fear of wasting what I've built. Chrissy says, I do.
And what we end up doing, guys, is holding on to what we have because we're afraid we won't get any more.
All right, here we go. How to begin breaking free.
All right, here we go.
Here's awareness. 1, awareness. You cannot change what you will not face.
Well,
start looking at your numbers without emotion.
Yeah.
Can I just put in right here that, oh my God, when I began to do healing work around my financial trauma, and money fears. Guys, it led me into some trauma. It led me into some stuff that was buried so old from childhood, from judgment of people with wealth and rich people. I mean, stuff I inherited from my daddy. I mean, it took me into some areas that I just did not have a lot of awareness around. But you have to stop. You have to stop and invite God in to say, God, show me what needs to change. Show me what I'm truly afraid of. Help me to confront and heal my mindset and my faith about money. I want to invite God in. So awareness, start looking at your numbers without emotion. B, separate facts from fear. What is actually true versus what you feel.
And that's what my app does. It's a part of this app that says, what you're feeling, give me the facts of the fear. And most time when you start writing it out, you're going, wow, it's not even really what I thought it was. It's really the mindset around the lack thereof.
Mm-hmm.
And, if God has not given us a spirit of fear, but we are afraid, then where's it coming from?
I think one of the things I love when we say what is actually true versus what you feel. How many of you have made very important financial decisions from emotions and feelings versus facts? You got too much house. I never forget our real estate agent a few years ago. We were looking to buy another house, and she was like, and we just gave up. Like, it was so bad. The market was just so crazy. It was so high and absolutely ridiculous. And we didn't even want to play these reindeer games, right? We just gave up. We're like, whatever, we'll get it later. We'll do something later. But my real estate agent she says, Rebecca, I think it's really wise that you guys waited, because these are at such astronomically, historically
18% above,
high.
18%.
Where it was at was so ridiculous, she said. And I'm watching people go into things and situations that if one person loses their job, they are going to be in big trouble. Because these loans, and it's too much house, the prices are too high. And it literally, you're going into $5,000 mortgages, $6,000 mortgages. And if just there's one blip, if just one thing happens, you'll lose it all.
And, the reality is, and I want to say to everybody, because most people buy a lot of house when in their 30s, maybe late 30s, early 40s. They buy a lot of house. They kind of built themselves up to they can afford it now. But what you fail to remember is the company that you work for, unless it's your own, is more than likely looking to cut the fat, and they start with the oldest people on the books because they can get 2 out of the price of 1.
Yeah.
I went through that. They say they cut all the fat, then they had to get to the lean meat. Yeah. And when they got to me, it was like, you're talking $100,000 salary back then being gone, and you have this brand new house, and all of a sudden now you're out of a job. You can plead the blood, you can pray, but at the end of the day, that bill collector's still going to call. And so what it boils down to is you have to ask yourself this question. If we came down to one income, can we live and maintain where we are? Yeah. And if the answer is no, then you better start planning for how we're going
either more income streams or less house.
That's it.
But here's another thing. These are emotional purchases. How many of you have gotten a car that was really not within your means, or wasn't wise for you to go into quite so much car payment, such high maintenance, right? Payments, insurance, all of it. You went in, you were being emotional, you wanted it, you just wanted what you wanted, right? And you get in it, and then here you are barely able to make this payment, barely able to keep up maintenance if it falls out of warranty, right? Like, because at the end of the day, you made an emotional purchase. You did not stop to weigh, is this going to affect me having 6 months of savings in the bank? Is this going to affect, right, how I'm able to shake and move? Am I able to still take a nice vacation a couple times a year to make sure I'm rested? Is this am I having to work that much extra harder in order to maintain this, right? So back again to stop making emotional decisions about finances. Emotional, right? So regulate your emotional response. Calm your nervous system before making decisions. How many of you right now are in a house that was too much house for you, but you just wanted it and you set your sights on it, right? I learned a long time ago that there's this thing that says you have to be willing to walk away from anything at any given time. You can't be so emotionally tied up in a purchase that you make an emotional decision. You have to be willing to walk away. There's more houses, there's more cars, there's more opportunities for you to have. If you're not ready to get it, then wait, save more, create another income stream, increase your salary or income before you go purchase. Patience. Patience is crucial.
So let me explain what that means. That means that you're trying to purchase a car and you have to finance it more than 5 years, you don't need it.
Yeah.
Because most times when you go past 5 years, it's so that you can bring the payment down to what you can afford. But what you didn't understand is there's interest that you're paying extra that you'll never see. The car loses its value actually after the first, as soon as you drop off the property, you lose in value. So at the end of the day, if you have to stretch your payments past 60 months, which is 5 years, you don't need it. You can't afford it.
Yeah.
Well, give me the 70 months. 70.
Yeah.
You just paid for 2 cars.
These are the tricks, the financing tricks that get us into trouble because you're getting into situations.
You know the biggest one because of the 80-20, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, the 80-20.
Listen,
that 80-20 put some folks in the grave.
I had a Mercedes truck.
Oh my goodness.
We were at the Mercedes dealership. I had a Mercedes truck, got a Mercedes truck. When we were there looking, shopping, deciding on what truck to get, they saw our finances, saw our tax returns, our money, our businesses. They were trying to put me in a G-Wagon. This is no lie. I had already picked out the truck I wanted online. I knew it was just like this little Mercedes SUV, just kind of one of the smaller ones. It's all we needed. We're empty nesters, guys. Right. And I fell in love with just this little truck. It wasn't the big one. It wasn't the big mama. Right. But if I had not already made up my mind to make a wise decision about that purchase, and I was listening to those salesmen or listening to them because they were trying their hardest to put me in more truck. And I was so grateful I didn't do it. And they do it every time you would go to the dealership. Don't let them know how much money you make because they'll try to put you in more. And
I'm take sure Carrie Pope with you, and I will assure you, you won't get it. Because I'm looking at Rebecca like, okay.
But the reality is that so oftentimes, right, we're falling into the comparison trap. The keeping up with the Joneses, you psychologically,
I am somebody.
Ego, mentally, it is all about trying to look wealthy but not be wealthy, right? And at the end of the day, this is harming you. It's harming you. Social media, trying to keep up with what it looks like on social media, how you want to feel. Guess what, guys? What I've learned from being an entrepreneur is that, like Carrie mentioned earlier in the show, is that oftentimes the things you're gunning to buy are the things that millionaires and billionaires are buying. And you're not a millionaire or billionaire, but you're trying to look like one, right? And then so much of the trauma, the fear, everything comes from these cycles of ego-driven purchasing, ego-driven and validation, right? So much ego-driven consumerism. Versus living below your means. Nobody, let me tell you something, nobody cares where you live.
And if they do, tell them to pay your bills.
Nobody cares what you drive. Nobody cares but you, where you live and what you drive. If you think people aren't worrying about where you live and what you drive, they're thinking about where they live and what they drive. They are not impressed by your house. They are not impressed by your car. Anybody who truly matters in your life does not care about these things. It is up to you to create a life for you that when you lay your head down at night, you have peace and harmony and balance. And whatever that level is based on your income. And if you would like to give yourself a raise in lifestyle, then it's up to you to create more income to where you can comfortably afford that.
Mm-hmm.
That's up to you.
Mm-hmm.
But not at the expense of your peace, not at the expense of harmony, because it is God's will for us to thrive in peace and harmony. Okay.
I was trying to find something. Because you know how loan companies, when you go get a loan, they want you to have, is it 2/3 more than what you had? They want you to show 2/3 more than whatever you're trying to buy costs,
Mm-hmm.
which means you got to have money in order to get whatever you want. You got to show it versus say it.
Yeah. One says house poor. All right. Shift your language and thinking from I am behind to I am learning how to manage and grow. I am learning how to manage and grow.
And unfortunately, sometimes we learn the hard way.
Yeah. Take small, consistent action. Clarity reduces fear. Action builds confidence. Do you guys realize that $100 a month savings put into an investment account is $1,200 a year? Doesn't feel like a lot during the month, but it adds up to quite a bit. Right?
So how much a month?
$100 a month
Mm-hmm.
is $1,200 a year.
Times 20 years. That's
And that's just $24,000 without compound interest. You put that into an investment account.
Yeah. That's money you got sitting there that's just growing.
Huge return. All right. Spiritual alignment. Trust over control. Stewardship over anxiety. Understanding that provision and wisdom work together.
Mm-hmm.
Provision and wisdom work together.
So when people say God will supply your needs according to his riches, sometimes your needs are not the same as your wants. You may need a 2-bedroom house and you want a 4-bedroom house with a big backyard and all this. And so sometimes you got to ask the question, what can I afford? Why do I want it? And do I need it? We can do that. Why do I want it? And do I need it? Most of the time, the answer is no, you don't need it. And you want it because you're either trying to impress someone or validate who you are, feel better. Yeah. And so when we learn how to manage our money, when we learn how to, Rebecca and I, now here's what's funny. We've come a long way in our marriage. I was always more of the frugal one, and she was always the one that was like to go spend. And I remember this one particular time, and I ain't gonna get too far in it, but I thought she was gonna tell that story where she wanted this particular house, and I said, "Hell no, we're not getting that. That house was way too much, And at the time, we were doing Blessed, and she was on the television show, all these great things kicking in. I'm sitting here going, I don't care if we're on the red carpet at the Grammys or the Oscars. No, because it was just she and I, and this was like, how many rooms was in that house? Almost like 7 bedrooms. And
we were arguing. I wanted it.
We weren't arguing. You were arguing. I was here
Carrie
going.
said no. And I was pissed. But then.
You were more than pissed.
Listen.
You wrote the whole new language of festivity.
Then the economy started shifting.
Well, come on, girl. What happened?
Honey, listen. I'm like, thank God we did not go into that house. Thank God. Oh my God. Listen, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I've already told you I'm grateful. I ain't got to tell you.
I call hell, y'all. Listen, this little high yellow woman over here.
I am not high yellow. Well, that's number one.
Okay, well, close enough for me.
No, I'm not. Take it back.
This woman over here, but boy, her little voice changed and she was woo-wee and woo-da. And then
and that's another thing. Listening to the wisdom around you. Listening to the voice of reason. Listening. I'm so grateful. I listened to him. I'm so grateful.
Man.
Right? Because listen, if you've got people around you who have more financial wisdom than you, listening to them, right, is absolutely crucial. Yeah. Absolutely crucial. Yeah. Because at that time, it doesn't matter how much money you're making. Some things are just not wise.
And now I'll say this. Do I want Rebecca in something like that? Without a doubt. But I need to be a multimillionaire when that happens, to where that's the different than living where I live now. In other words, when you have more to where you're spending it at the same ratio as you would where you would. So imagine this. Here's where you are, but your debt ratio is down here. Mm-hmm. You go make an investment, your debt ratio comes up, but your income doesn't go up, you're going to go down. Yeah. So if it always goes up together, then you're not losing. You're comfortable. Yeah. So when you get a raise, that doesn't mean to go and buy more. It means to save more and spend less, because the economy will change. And then when you get it, let's be honest, where we live now is more house than what we need, because it's just she and I. And
it's expensive.
And so at the
it's
end
already
and so when you think about it, here we go. Let me say it like this. Our big house is nice, without a doubt. We both had mansions. But at the end of the day, how many rooms do you actually go in that house? How many rooms do you actually go in? The kitchen, the bathroom, the washroom, which is the laundry room, and your bedroom. Kitchen, bathroom, laundry room, bedroom. But you got another 8 rooms in the house. You got a movie theater, you got a recording studio, you got 6 more bedrooms, you got 7 more bathrooms, you got a balcony, you got a...
Antonio says, what about his leadership allows you to listen? I would say
what about my leadership allows you to listen?
Here we go, of course.
Good, Antonio, listen. Thank you for taking that money I sent you and asking that question.
You know what? So, in reality, guys, you guys know that Carrie and I have been married over 10 years. We're at 10 years. And so we're both divorcees. So one of the things that happened in our marriage is that the trusting each other had to grow. It may not be there in the first few years in your marriage, but it can grow into that. I had to learn how to trust Carrie. I had to learn how to trust his leadership, right? And that comes with healing. That comes with couples counseling. That comes with individual therapy. That comes from healing trauma, right? Yeah, they both just told us they argued about it. That's right, Shannon. This was how many years ago? We argued about it.
Okay, guys, let me specify again. We did not argue. She fussed, I listened.
And he still said no.
And I still said no.
Because at the end of the day, it's still 2. It's not just one person making the decision.
And guess what?
Of you.
Hear this well. If I wanted to appease her, as the old Carrie would have done, we would have been sitting with our stuff on the sidewalk.
Be evicted.
Because
it was so much. It was so expensive. Guys, it was dumb. It was stupid dumb. I mean, it was so expensive.
I'm riding away going. And she said, yeah, how did you do the paperwork? I'm like,
it was just stupid.
You done bumped your head.
Right.
Carol, I was nice about it.
Be like, I just lost your mind,
and,
chick.
And we get out, and I'm like, baby, what's wrong with you? I want it. No, I'm not. And I mean,
and that's what I say. It takes growing.
What's that song I heard? I heard in the background. I got power. Doom, 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 doom. She would just She was Shira on me, and I'm like, I don't care. I'm not. You have.
So Antonio, the answer is he was mad, but he still held his ground.
Yeah.
And over time, that builds respect.
Yeah.
That builds respect. So saying no and your no being firm builds respect. You may not like it in the moment, but it builds respect.
Because it wasn't no being mean; it was no being wise.
Wise, protective.
And I tell Rebecca, and I've always told her this: I have to protect Rebecca from Rebecca, because she's gotten much better. She's nowhere where she used to be, but she was always this big dreamer. Big spender on a beer budget. Yeah, what's it say? Champagne taste on a beer budget.
I had champagne.
What's it? Champagne taste on a beer budget.
I had champagne taste on a champagne budget.
Yeah,
we can afford it.
Yeah,
And that's when you really get tested. You think, oh, when I get it, I'm gonna manage it well. Oh no, the more money you make, honey, listen. Carrie still got all his designer clothes and shoes and belts because Rebecca Lynn Pope was spending it. When I say it.
And I'm looking at like, why? It's just a belt. what? She bought me some stuff. I had to go look up who is this? who is this person that, because I don't care about that stuff.
Yeah. Antonia says, been married for 17 years. My wife is a brilliant mind in business. So early in marriage, it was tough to say no to her. During pandemic, I grew into my role, and not saying no is easier.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Number one, she respects you. Number two, how can two walk together except you agree? You have to, you're going to have disagreements, but when the smoke cleared and Rebecca said, baby, I am so glad that you said no.
And then that builds trust.
Yeah.
That builds trust, because over our years together now, when I look back, it made me start listening to Carrie more. It made me start trusting him more, because I realized God gave me someone that can see things that I can't see. Right? It's protection, it's guidance, it's covering. You want that in your life. You want a partner who's looking out for the blind.
They say they want it till the partner says no.
The blind spots that you can't see. And I'm the same for him.
That's right.
Right? I can see the things he can't see. I can see the blind spots that he can't see. So being able to be in a partnership is absolutely crucial when it comes to marriage. But even for those who are single right now, at the end of the day, overcoming your fears.
Yeah.
Healing your fears, taking some classes, right?
Or going to the retreats that we're going to have where we teach and talk about all this kind of stuff that's coming up.
That's true too.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me go back, make sure we covered all our notes. All right. Money is a tool, not a threat. Money amplifies who you are. You do not need to fear what you are learning to manage. You do not need more money to feel safe. You need a new relationship with it.
Yeah.
You need a new relationship with it. Antonia says, I can say my walk with God was much stronger, and that's what made the difference. Amen.
So we'll close with this. So some things we're working on now, they're $1 million ideas. When we sit down with the investors and they want to write $1 million checks, we're not going to go, oh my God, $1 million. Because mentally, we've already been there. We've seen ourselves walking in multis, setting up the investments, having the accountants in place, having things in. See, you got to start. Here's one of the biggest things that we talk about is this. You have to act like you already have it. So when you get it, you don't trip. Yeah. You have to act like you already have it. Have a plan so that when preparedness meets opportunity, you don't get caught looking like you've never been there before. Yeah. You can. I used to always say, act like you've been there before. Go there here first before you get there in the natural. So listen, when we sit down and we have some things that we've written out. We have our vision boards. We have our things we've written out and things we've set. What was that? Remember we did that vision board, and on the vision board was your truck, and something else. Oh, your show, and her show, right there on the vision board. You have to see it before you be it, and that's what we're doing. So, okay, he says, are you host? I can't read that from my eyes.
DMV this year.
No, not until you get a new president. Okay. Because, they may think I'm Puerto Rican or something, trying to lock me up in ice.
All right, guys. We are encouraging you to face what you've been avoiding, calling you into responsibility and power. Our final conclusion. Freedom from financial fear begins the moment you stop running from it and start leading through it. Any final remarks?
No, just guys, think about what you want. Don't be afraid to dream big and believe that it's already yours. Some people, you'll still hear what we're teaching and still dream small. Because you're afraid to dream big, because you're saying, I'm going to dream on the level I can achieve. You can achieve any level. We set the bar high. Not because we think we're all that, but because we know that that's what God wants for us to have. Yeah. Set your bar high. Stop playing low. Stop living beneath your privilege and live and be and go and get what God wants you to have, and then be a blessing to others. But make sure this. Check your ego at the door so that you're doing it not because you're trying to show you're some. I'm validated if I'm wearing some shoes with a pair of holes in. I'm still validated because I am who I am. You got to know that what you get is not what makes you who you are. Yeah. You make it what it is. Okay? That's what I got to say.
And I
That's all
think
I can
that
say.
one of the things I'll say in conclusion is this too. You can be praying for certain outcomes. You could be focusing, you could be building, dreaming, working towards certain outcomes and results. But can I also say that you need to invite God in? Invite
First.
God into your planning.
Yes.
Invite God into the final
First.
outcomes you're trying to build. I've built several highly successful businesses, guys, and over the years, one of the things that's happened to me just in the last few years is clarity around who I am, clarity around what makes me truly happy, not doing something because it can make money, not just make money, but also fulfillment, right? About identity and who you are, needing to be able to understand the things that is really truly close to your heart. And for those of us who have multi-gifts, multi-talents, you're a multi-hyphenated person, there's lots of different things you can do. It can be very difficult to decide what to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that's happened for me just in this past year is that I separated my identities. I have a ministry, Thrive, instituted ministry that holds my prophetic ministerial healer identity, right? I have another business that holds my business identity over there. And now I don't have to blend the two together. Sometimes what happens inside is that we don't realize that subconsciously we're trying to put everything into one basket. It might be meant for you to have two different companies. It might be meant for you to have your career, build another company on the side, and maybe also an investment portfolio into some other things. Removing the limitations that you might be putting on yourself around who you are and what you can do, and beginning to stretch yourself beyond. You have larger capacity, right? And beginning to remove those limitations that fear puts on our mind around what we can and can't do and who we can and can't be. Right. Kelly says, this was so good. Thank you both so much. It's time for me to change my thinking and ask God for vision in my finances. Amen.
That's right.
If this message has been a help to you, if our message tonight, our teaching tonight has been a help for you, we invite you to sow. We invite you to give a love offering at the link that we just put in. Listen, we're here every Tuesday night to teach. Oh, and please also remember that we are moving over to our new channel.
Sooner
Thrive.
than expected. I
Thrive
said April
is
1st.
moving over.
Yeah, when is it moving?
We're going to be over there by Sunday.
So in other words, this is the last broadcast.
We are moving over to our new channel. You want to make sure you're one of the first 100 to subscribe over on our new channel.
And there's a prize. There's a prize if you become one of the first 100. Guess what it is?
What?
You get first opportunity to see us.
You know what? So Ronald says, powerful lesson. Thank you, Ronald. So yeah, if this has helped you, please make sure you sow into the ministry, into the institute. We are Thrive. Thrive is, we've got our own brand new channel there. Please subscribe to the new channel. Everything that we will be doing will be now over on the Thrive channel. The Rebecca Lynn Pope channel will go back to my Rebecca Lynn Pope content exclusively around business and entrepreneurship. Carrie Pope channel will exclusively be Coffee and Carrie, and whatever God guides him to do in this near future of what he'll be offering over there. Is Coffee and Carrie moving to? Coffee and Carrie will be on Carrie Pope
on my channel, which is
channel.
So my stuff stays as Coffee and Carrie stays where it's
Coffee
at.
and Carrie stays.
We'll be bringing back. Yeah, Thrive.
Thrive is moving off of Rebecca Lynn Pope over to the Thrive channel.
And at some point, periodically, I'm going to be bringing back the prophetic encounters, which is powerful. That's where you
on
get
Carrie Pope or on Thrive.
Carrie. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see because it's ministry. But
so yeah. So we appreciate you. Sure you subscribe
this Sunday
to the new Thrive channel.
Rebecca's preaching this Sunday on Thrive. If you come looking for us here,
over on Thrive. So make sure you subscribe. We love you guys. Blessings in abundance.
Blessings in abundance.
Carrie, anything
Father,
else?
we thank you for tonight's lesson. We thank you for being able to bless your people and get an understanding and not to be afraid of money or wealth, but to understand that it is part of the walk with you. It's about the mindset that we have in inheriting it. So, Father, you talk about leaving an inheritance for our children's children. And the only way to do that is through wisdom, knowledge, and insight. And so we pray that we give more that they receive and that now we can apply the knowledge. Bless us. We go our separate ways tonight. This we pray in your son Jesus' name. Amen. God bless you.
Take care now. Blessings in abundance. Bye-bye.